So welcome to all of you. I have this for successful women, and yet I've also told a couple men about this because, hey, I'm not stuck on any particular sexuality, but I have geared this towards successful women, and you're going to find out that you can have your cake and eat it too. So I want you to picture something here. You might even want to close your eyes. I don't know. It might be a good idea to just really get into this by whatever you're drawn to. But I want you to picture yourself with the love of your life and sharing a life that is worth living. You know your life's purpose and are living it. You and your romantic partner are physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually healthy. You and your romantic mate share your callings that complement one another. There's no competition between you. There's no comparison or strife. There's only collaboration, support, and love of one another. And you two have great communication and communication skills, and you iron out any differences that arise. This is an extraordinary partnership that's loving and passionate. And each of you is being the greatest version of yourself. Yay. Okay, if you were closing your eyes, you might open them and just allow that to sink in. And now it's time to get into what's happening now. Let's look at what is presently in your love life. What's going on in your love life or lack thereof? What patterns surface? Are you part of the over 50% of the adult population who is single and avoiding romance and staying at home at night, settling for the company of your dog or cat or whatever? Do you overgive of yourself and end up getting resentful and leaving the relationship? Do you put your life mission on hold for fear that you may lose him or her? Or have you been taking on dating like a second job and exhausting yourself with the perennial search? So, time to take a step back and let this all go. Because tonight is the opportunity to stop all of these painful patterns. They're frustrating, they're painful, and they seem endless. And really, here's the good news. These patterns originate from deep-seated false beliefs about yourself and about love. And we can turn those all around. We have the power to do that. And I've been there. I know what it's like to go through all of that. You know, I lost my longtime beloved partner in 2008. And, you know, I had to go through several years of nothing because I was so distraught with grief. But finally, I started to do some healing and realized it was time for me to get out there and search for my new beloved. And I made a lot of those classic mistakes and patterns showed up that even more than what I just mentioned. And here I was, a relationship coach, and it was really awful. And so it didn't start to change until I looked deep inside and started to do some healing from deep, deep within and got to the crux of my core beliefs around what's possible in love. And gifts are truly our gift, because we have the possibility to turn all of that totally around in a heartbeat. So I want to make a commitment in this short time span that you're on this seminar, that by the end of it, you are going to know that not only is this kind of partnership possible for you, the one that I feel I now have in my life and I know has become possible because of totally changing around my belief system, but such extraordinary mutual love will help you to rise to even greater heights of fulfillment in your own life. So before we dive into this, I wanted to just get a heads up from the people that are here. We don't have a lot, but from the list was pretty big actually. But is anyone here in a relationship? And if so, would you just put yes in the chat box? Just type it in there, because it's going to give me a sense of how I'm going to actually deliver this talk. And really, this talk would be good for someone in a relationship as well, because I work with singles and couples can turn it all around too. They really can. So is anyone here that is actually already in a relationship? Okay, so we do have one person. So I will, as far as what I see so far, we might have a few others. So that way I know to kind of realize that we have both sides of the coin. And it is, no matter if you're in a relationship or not, it really is about transforming your inner beliefs. And they're core beliefs that can totally change one's life once you change them around. Now, I thought I'd give just a tiny bit of a backdrop to me, so you know that I might have something to say about these topics. Well, you got a little bit of my story, but then also I am a certified relationship coach. I'm a communication specialist, and I've owned my business, Thriving Loving Relationships, since 1997. It's gone through a lot of changes in that time frame, and I like to think I've evolved in the positive way in offering a lot more things over those years. And I just want to mention, though, that all of this in my work with both singles and couples, I feel I've gotten to that place where I can help them get to exactly what they need to do to become a pure magnet to the soulmate of their dreams, and if they're in a relationship, to create a thriving, passionate, extraordinary partnership. So that's where I'm at, and where my background is. Now, we're going to start in now about taking on what I consider to be the three core false beliefs that many of us adopt, and it wreaks havoc in our love life and our personal life, not even more than just our relationships, but in our own relationship with our own self. So we're going to take on the three core ones tonight. And so the first thing I want to mention is, why do we look at beliefs? What's the big deal? I know people that listen to seminars and telesummits, they're hearing this all the time. Why do we talk so much about beliefs? And that is what we think we become. And what creates our thoughts? It's our beliefs. So if we can turn our beliefs around, we're going to have a lot easier time in changing our thoughts. You're always hearing about people saying, oh, you know, write those affirmations and stick them on your mirror and put them on your car. But if you don't have the belief that supports those affirmations, it's kind of useless. So we're going to take on the beliefs tonight. Now, I like to use the metaphor that we're all given a plot of land when we're born into this life. It's the land of our inner self. And if we don't prune that land, it becomes full of the weeds of negative beliefs. It becomes basically, we're implanted with things from childhood trauma and crappy things that go around in society. We get implanted with this stuff, and it just creates havoc in our plot of land. And if we clean that up and we decide, no, I don't want that belief, I don't want that one, and what I really want is this, is we're going to create a beautiful garden that we have a choice to create. We are always at choice. And so we're going to start out with the core belief that this is a big one for anyone that wants to attract the amazing soulmate of their dreams. And this is the first false belief that many of us are carrying around unconsciously a lot of times. And that is, there are no such men or women who are capable of embracing all that I am here to be and of creating a healthy, thriving love partnership. So that belief that such a person is a pipe dream or such an evolved relationship is just a darn pipe dream, and maybe I should just settle for anybody that comes along because, hey, I'm expecting too much. That's actually a false belief. And it comes from our society, really. I put the blame in our families and our upbringings that, hey, we just have to settle, you know, that concept that, no, that's not possible. Actually, if we say no to the belief and turn it around, we're going to be able to create and influence what's true in all of life. So the way we know if this belief is on board, this false belief, is by actually looking at our previous or existing intimate relationships. Look at them and what are they like? And that will give you a clue if you have that belief going on, because the relationships in your life mirror how you view and treat yourself. And let's just say, for example, are you a workaholic or are you some other kind of aholic? You know, some kind of one. Do you ignore your inner whisperings and not allow yourself joy in your life? So what happens is the people who step into our lives mirror back to us what we believe about our own selves and about the world in general, and not what is possible. So meaning, if we treat ourselves with love and love ourselves at our core and live our lives that way, then it's possible then to bring into our lives people who honor that and are capable of having an evolved relationship with you. So that's the first one, that it's not possible. Now, I want to just take a moment because I'm talking a lot and I love interacting with people, and I don't always consider myself so much the teacher per se, but the facilitator, because we're all creating this together. I'm not just some expert pontificating here. We're all needing to contribute here and use this as a possibility to evolve. What I would love to do is, I'm going to put up a statement here. My wonderful, healthy, evolved mate not only exists, but is on his or her way to me now. And by the way, I say his or her, knowing I think we're all women here. I'm not sure. Because I work with both gay and heterosexual. And like I said, sometimes men join my stuff because they want to learn more about how to be an awesome male component in a relationship. So I don't always just assume that we're talking to heterosexual women. So anyway, when I say this statement, when you read this statement, could you please share, get honest here, what negative thoughts pop into your head when you say this out loud to yourself? My wonderful, healthy, evolved mate not only exists, but is on his or her way to me now. What comes up to you in your mind? Get honest. As far as negativity, please write this in the chat box, would you? I'm going to take a second and let you just let it sink in. What comes up for you when you hear that? Oh, I like that. Anne-Marie said he probably has a flaw that will be a deal breaker for me. That was really good, Anne-Marie. Is there anything else that people would like to share here as far as, oh, Chris said, I don't feel like I'm enough. Yes. Yes. I don't know if there's, okay. Oh, that's beautiful. So something positive. Terry said it makes me want to live happy or happier. Yes. Yes, so she's going for the possibility. I'll give one more second on this, but very hopeful. Yes. Awesome. Okay, so it's not just negative stuff. It's also positive. It's bringing out the best in me, says Terry. Yes. Awesome. All right. So basically, when you realize, if you ever get any message that crops up in your mind when you put yourself out there to meet a potential mate, sort of like, oh, am I expecting too much? And oh, if you hear yourself saying that, be willing to turn that all around and say this affirmation. Physically, mentally, and emotionally healthy, evolved, and available mates are plentiful. They do exist and are waiting for me to rise to the occasion and be fully evolved myself. What a concept. And how do we become fully evolved? We start with self-love and knowing that our essence is whole and complete. So we are willing to evolve ourselves and then know that these type of mates are out there. They really are. It's not a pipe dream. So that's false belief number one, to say they're not out there. Okay, so are you ready for the next one? All right. Next one, false belief number two. I'm not good enough. Or another version of that, there's something wrong with me. This is a big one. I call this a big thorny weed. It really wreaks havoc in someone's life. I know it wreaked havoc in mine. I had to do a lot of years of therapy to get rid of this one. Basically, you are enough. That's the bottom line. You are always enough. And there is fundamentally nothing wrong with you. I promise you, there's nothing wrong with you. Now, I'm not saying that there may be some things inside that need healing. I had to do a number of things to do that with professionals. And there may be some changes that need to happen in your lifestyle that can help you enjoy your life more fully and allow you to go for your mission in life. But your true inner self is whole and complete. And you have all that you need to draw into your life healthy relationships and live the life you were meant to live on this earth. You have it all within. It's not something you have to go searching for. Someone or from a guru or something else. You have all that you need now. Now this weed is pervasive. This false belief that there's fundamentally something wrong with you, it can wreak havoc not only in your relationships or your ability to attract a healthy mate, but in all areas of your life. It could be in your profession. It could be in many, how you sleep at night, how happy you are. And some questions maybe to ask yourself is, these are key ideas that you'll know you have this going on, running underneath your consciousness. And that is, are you pushing yourself all the time? Are you one of these women who keeps getting more degrees and training so that you can shine because you don't think you're shining now? Do you work your fingers to the bone and still feel it's not enough? Do you catch yourself talking meanly to yourself? Here's some other key ways of knowing that this I'm not good enough is running the show behind the scenes. These are very key things. And by the way, I have a master's in psychology and have done a lot. I'm not a licensed therapist, but I'm basically a therapist because I've done so much stuff in helping people. But here's how you would know. You have trouble having consistent intimacy with a beloved, someone you're intimate with. You get involved with unavailable men or women. Your waking hours are more unhappy than happy. Worry comes up a lot. You have fear of people judging you. You judge you harshly. You struggle with one or more addictive behaviors. So these are like red flags going, hey, you're saying you're not good enough. That's running the show. So these are your clues. Now, although I work with men, women, gays, straight, all ages, all walks of life, where I really feel I've made my hugest impact through thriving, loving relationships is with business or successful women, professional women. And I have to say this is number one in what turns these women's lives around. It is getting to the crux of turning around this belief. And when they overturn this belief, their entire lives change to make room for joy. And I'm going to take I thought, I'll bet you I could find a really famous person to show the turnaround. And I did find one after some research of a perfect famous example of someone who turned this all around and how her life changed. And this is Barbra Streisand. So if you study her life, which I did the past few days, I read a lot about her life. She did all she could to be at the top of her game. She and was known as the bitchy diva. That was her title. And nobody wanted to work with her on the set. And relationships, she started a marriage actually in the 60s. She got married. It was very brief. And then she was single for 30 years. 30 years, nobody wanted to be close to her. And maybe she didn't either. I don't know the full story. I don't claim to. But what I do know is that when she reached her 50s, which was in the late 90s, 1990s, you saw sort of a transformation of softening happening. She wasn't just this ready to pounce on everyone. And shortly after you observed that, she met her husband, James Brolin. And they got married and have been, what in the tabloids they're always saying, oh, they got a divorce, oh, they got, and it's not true. They're happily married. They have wonderful romance. And really, I would say, I don't know this for a fact, but because you saw the softening that took place with her, I would say she let go of having to be in control all the time. And she knew that she was enough, that her essence was enough. And look at the fruit of what has happened in romance for her. And so there's one example, many, many examples. Now, I've done this whole thing around self-love and this belief that needs total transformation in workshop settings, and usually I have some deep exercises which we don't have time for. I'm an NLP practitioner, so I bring in some NLP, and we won't have time for that, but here's what I'm going to say. To start taking on this pervasive, awful belief and turning it all around, I'm going to recommend that you become conscious of any of these behaviors I just talked about previously, and catch yourself if you're talking negatively or you're doing something that is self-destructive, and take on these statements. I am enough. I love and accept myself no matter what, even if you spill the milk or you mess up and get in an argument with someone or you whatever. Always say, I love and accept myself no matter what. I am lovable now. I am whole and complete. These are the comebacks. When you catch yourself doing something self-sabotaging or saying something really mean, these are the comebacks. And you get into it and you feel it. You feel it. So we're ready. I think we're ready for the last false core belief that we can totally turn around. And the last one is, either I get to have an awesome, evolved partnership, or I get to live my purpose for this life. It's not an either or. It's an and. You get to have both. Really, I get this a lot. I get it, and it's something in society that it's very pervasive, that this belief that, oh, either you get to be a professional woman and live your calling, or stay home and develop a wonderful relationship with someone. Where did we get that? Here's a couple things where you know if this is running behind the scenes for you. And this comes from years of working with singles and helping them clean up their act to attract a healthy mate and live the life of their dreams. So I see women, and ask yourself, are you an overachiever who seesaws back and forth between either having a romance in which you somehow play small, and because you don't want to intimidate your partner, or you go after your calling and avoid all committed relationships altogether. Either way, you end up feeling unfulfilled and or lonely. So here's my comeback to this, and I challenge you to take this on. Having both an awesome relationship and going for your mission in life Having both is necessary for you to fully enjoy a life that is fulfilled, expansive, and challenging you to grow on all levels. And when I say all levels, I mean out in the world, I mean within, I mean in your heart. When you are in an awesome relationship, you're growing your capacity to love fully. So to have that challenge to grow in your life at all times, that's the way to go. That's what brings joy and fulfillment. Now, not only is it possible, oops, I'm going too fast. Sorry about that. So not only is it possible to have both, but it really is something that you want to take on to open yourself to have both. That's the main message I want to put out there. When we are thriving as an I, we can thrive as a we, and vice versa. Now, here's a couple things to know if this is going on, your belief that it's an either or thing. If you find yourself saying something like, oh, all the good ones are taken, or men or women suck. I don't have any time for a relationship. I have to hide my power for men to want to be with me. If you hear yourself saying any of that, you know this false belief is going on. I'd love for you to share a few more that comes up when you challenge yourself to believe that both is possible. What kind of negative things come up for you when you look at this statement? So are there other negative ones that you've, maybe not now because I'm challenging you to be incredibly positive right now, but what have you heard yourself saying that reinforce that it's an either or possibility? It's not an and. Oh, Terry, I don't know which one. Terry, which one was it that I didn't read your thing until I pulled off. What do you say? Is that all men suck, or which of those yucky ones I just said? And what other ones? What other ones come up for you? They're all taken and suck. Oh, yes, 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 both of them. Let's see, what else? Any other negative ones? Oh, I heard a good one the other day. I just started laughing. Oh, yes. Anna Marie, this one I just heard says what Anna Marie just said, men just want us to take care of them. Yeah, I heard a friend of mine, she just reached 60, and I've been pushing her to get herself out there to date, and she said, oh, men at my age, they either want a nurse or a purse. Not good enough. I'm just bad. Oh, that's, oh. That one goes, Terry, I'm just bad. That one would go to the other false belief that there's something fundamentally wrong. All these guys tie into each other, these false beliefs. Okay, and I would take a little bit more time to needle you to come up with stuff, but time is marching, so I'm going to go on, and that is basically, I'd love for you to say this to yourself now. It is always possible. I just noticed that my thing got cut off. But anyway, my little, maybe I can adjust this. No. Anyway, this is supposed to say, oh, maybe if I, it is possible for me to enjoy an extraordinary romantic partnership and be all that I am called to be in the world. That's the statement I would love for you to say to yourself on a daily basis. And basically this goes to my title of my talk, You Can Have Your Cake and Eat It Too. It's always possible for me to enjoy an extraordinary romantic partnership and be all that I am called to be in the world. What does that feel like to say that statement? Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to kind of wrap this up because we took on the 3 core false beliefs that prevent us from attracting really healthy, available mates in our lives and enjoy an incredible life. And I have to say, I'm proud of you for hanging in there. I think I might have lost one person there, because this is not easy stuff. This is like the core of the hard stuff to change around in our lives. And so what we took on is we are now creating those 3 false beliefs. We turned around to actually say, now, my evolved mate does exist. I may need to change some deep-seated beliefs to manifest the life I desire and the partnership of my dreams, but my evolved mate does exist. And I'm always enough. I am whole and complete. I may just need to heal some things to live from my highest self. And the last one, it is always possible to enjoy an extraordinary love and realize my mission in life. And really, we reach the epitome of our actualized self when we have both. So that is what I challenge you to now replace these false beliefs with. And you know, it's really, I don't like to give the impression it's totally hard work to change these beliefs around. They can really get changed in an instant. I really believe that. I've seen that happen in my own life. You may need to do some groundwork or some healing, but really in one instant, one of these false beliefs can get totally changed around. And really, this is the truth. What is right here on this app, this is the truth. So to know that and then take action to get in alignment with these new beliefs. What kind of action would it take in your life to affirm that I am whole and complete? Would that mean, you know, maybe changing your diet to feed your body temple with healthy, vibrant food? Would it mean that you are going to now join an online dating and have an amazing profile that states your inner truth of what you're looking for? Well, what kind of action steps would it take? And one thing I've noticed, sometimes people need support. They can, you know, reach out to a professional like me, or a professional relationship coach, or somebody whose profession is about helping people attract their mate. And also developing a loving, supportive community of peers that are going through this. Those are 2 things I've noticed people really blossom with, having a professional help and a loving, supportive community. So whatever you do, take a stand for yourself and don't settle for less. Really, you deserve this. And I'm going to be wrapping this up and telling you about a couple of things that are coming up that are inexpensive, that you could get some of that support to really take on these beliefs and transform them and be open to healthy, loving, beautiful relationships. I'm going to tell you about a few things, but before I do, I would love to get just a tiny bit of input from you as to what you are ready to commit to in your life and relationships. I would love to just get a little bit of input in the chat box. What are you now ready to take a stand for in your life? Do you have something that you want to actually verbalize and write down so that it's more of a commitment now? Do you have something that you're ready to say, no more? I will no longer do this, and I'm going to do this from now on. Does anyone have something they'd like to write in the chat box to now make a stand for yourself? Even if it's just, I'm going to love myself from this point forward, or it could be just, you know, I'm not going to hide anymore. You know, I'm going to get out there and put myself in places where I can not only potentially meet a mate, but I'm gonna, you know, develop wonderful supportive communities that can support and love me. What would you like to make a statement in the chat box about? Oh, right on, Terry. I love that. I will respect myself for who I am. I love myself. I will not hide anymore. I will go out. Oh, I love that, Terry. And we're all in support of you doing that. Does anyone have anything else they would like to make a commitment to themselves and write it down right here and right now? Chris, I am getting professional help with a coach like you. I'm going to take actions to change. I will start telling myself positive, healthy things. Oh, that's beautiful, Chris. Thank you. That is wonderful. I am so grateful to hear that. It warms my heart that you're going to start telling yourself positive things and you're going to get professional assistance in the relationship realm. I'm assuming you meant relationship coach, but anyway, so you're going to take actions to change. Anybody else? I'll give you maybe 1 minute, or maybe you might be writing and it just hasn't come up yet. You know, really, you are all whole and complete. I just want you to know that you're radiant beings, full of love, and you're here to make a difference in the world. And you deserve total love. Anna Marie, I'm committed to evolve into my complete, authentic self. Oh, I love that. And will draw boundaries to make sure I will take care of my heart. Oh, I love that so much. Okay, so we've heard from you all, and I want you to remember, you might even write down what you just said. All three of you, those were powerful statements. And I would love for you to actually write them down for yourself and make it a commitment in your lives. So I have a couple things that will be